Good morning, students. So today we had focused on some important points regarding the chapter which is the Divine Comedy by Dante. So in our last class we discussed regarding that poem. So today we had focused on the major themes of this poem and also regarding the major characters and some important questions from that chapter. Then we had focused on regarding the introduction part for the next chapter, which is the repentant sinner. So today we had focused on regarding the major themes first. So the first one is regarding the language and communication. So the language and communication in the poem, which is the Divine Comedy. So Paradiso hints at the inadequacy of language in expressing God and His bliss. Most of what Dante encounters cannot be adequately described in words. So basically here we had to focus on regarding the language and communication which is used in this poem. So this is the one of the important theme that we had to keep in mind. The second one is regarding the love. So, in Dante's Christian universe, every motion from the petty choices of humans to the cosmic revolutions of the stars is motivated by love. So, in every aspect of the universe, according to Dante, especially in Dante's Christian universe, for every motion from the petty choices of human to the cosmic revolutions of the stars is motivated by the concept of this love. So, here we had to focus on regarding the theme of this love in this poem. Then the third theme is rules and order. So we have language and communication, then love. The third one is regarding the rules and order. So the rules and orders means the Christian theology claims that the universe is very strictly ordered because it reflects the mind of God, its creator. So this means there are certain kind of these rules and orders in the Christian theology. So here we had to focus on regarding the third theme of this poem, which is the rules and orders. Then the fourth one is regarding the faith. So in heaven, one must come to terms with the fact that mortals cannot understand everything they see. For Dante, this means trusting to faith. So here the spiritual journey of Dante, it signifies the trusting to faith of Dante. So especially regarding the spiritual journey of Dante, we had to focus on the point which is the faith. Then the fifth one is regarding the fate and free will. So this means that the difference between the free will of the blessed and that of other men is the blessed have aligned their free will with God's, which is fate. Thus, they are content wherever God places them. So, fate and free will, both these concepts are very important regarding this poem, in which, according to this fate of God, they are content wherever God places them. So, this signifies that the consistency of the life of Dante. Then we have the spirituality. So the spirituality means in Dante's vision of heaven, souls do not resemble material bodies as they do in hell or purgatory, but are depicted as rays of light. So this signifies the rays of light, it signifies the spirituality, and also moreover this poem is a spiritual journey. Basically in Dante's vision of heaven, souls do not resemble material bodies as they do in hell or purgatory, but the souls are depicted as rays of light in this poem. So this signifies the spirituality. Then the seventh one is regarding the education. So the perspective is the most important element to possess in the act of learning. It allows one to see things as they truly are and to perceive their big picture significance. So this means that the act of learning in this poem, which signifies the seventh theme of this poem, which is the education. Now we have the second last theme, which is the time. So according to Dante, time is a bad thing for mortals. Paradise claims that since God created the universe and time, nothing can be more perfect than what He creates. So here Paradise claims that since God created the universe and time, nothing can be more perfect than what He creates. So here the time is very important regarding this poem. Now we have the final one, which is the art and culture. So art and culture means the act of creation in paradise is seen as the work of art. Then artistic pieces like the cross, eagle, rose, music of the spheres and the universe itself are meticulously crafted and ordered. So all these kinds of creation, it signifies the art and culture of the universe. So that's regarding the final theme of this poem. So we have 9 important themes in this poem. The first one is language and communication, then love, then the rules and order, then after that the faith, then fate and free will, then spirituality, education, time, and finally we have art and culture. So these are the major themes that we had to focus on regarding this poem. Now we have some important characters that we had to focus on. So the first one is regarding the Peter Damian. So Peter Damian means He was a Benedictine monk and cardinal in the circle Pope Leo IX. He was also a great predecessor of Saint Francis of Assisi, and he was declared a doctor of the church in 1828. Now we have Saint Benedict. So Benedict of Nursia is a Christian saint who is venerated in the Eastern Orthodox churches, and he is a patron saint of Europe. So that's regarding Saint Benedict. Now we have Piccarda Donati. She was a 13th century Italian noblewoman, and she is the first character Dante encounters in Paradise. And she is on the sphere of the moon, the lowest sphere of heaven, and she explains to Dante that her placement is due to vows neglected and in part no longer valid. Then we have the Justinian I. So traditionally he was known as Justinian the Great, was a Byzantine emperor from 527 to 565. Now we have the Venus. So the second planet from the Sun and the sixth largest, and it was named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Now we have the Charles Martel. So he was a Frankish statesman and military leader, and Charles successfully asserted his claims to power as successor to his father as the power behind the throne in Frankish politics. Now we have the narrator of this poem. So the narrator is a soul embarking on its journey into death, and also the narrator describes his experience of the afterlife. The narrator appears to be male according to his diction and attitude, and he knows nothing of what to anticipate in his death, although he appears to be privileged to review the entire heavens. Readers do not learn whether he is actually dead or merely accompanying Beatrice on a sort of spiritual journey. So here we had to focus on regarding the narrator. So here the narrator of the poem is the poet itself. So basically here we had to focus on regarding the narrator as a soul embarking on its journey into death, and also he describes his experience of the afterlife. So basically here we had to focus on regarding the spiritual journey of Dante. So that's regarding the character of this narrator. Now we have the Beatrice. So she is the narrator's and as well as the reader's guide to the afterlife, and she appears to have intimate knowledge of the workings of heaven, especially what happens to various kinds of souls in their death. Herself a spirit, Beatrice demonstrates multiple supernatural abilities throughout the text, such as flying, glowing, dematerializing, etc. She is a patient guide and knowledgeable about her subject. So here we had to focus on regarding the Beatrice, in which she is the guide, especially for the Dante, for the narrator, and for the reader itself. So basically Beatrice is a guide in this spiritual journey. So that's regarding the Beatrice. Now we have some minor characters, which includes the Charles Martel, then Thomas Aquinas, then Apostle Peter. And regarding Peter, Peter is summoned by Beatrice to speak with the narrator. When prompted, he asks the narrator what is the nature of his faith. He appears impressed by the response, and Peter becomes angry when reminded of the corruption of the church on earth by the Pope, whom he considers his own successor as the leader of the church. Then we have Apostle James, in which the Apostle James asks the narrator his opinion of the nature of hope. He too seems impressed by the response. And also we have the Apostle John, in which the apostle asks the narrator about love. Then John is primarily concerned about the narrator's loyalty to God in response to love. So basically here we had focused on three important factors, in which the Apostle John signifies the love, then Apostle James it signifies the hope, and also regarding Apostle Peter it signifies the faith. Now we have the final character, who is Saint Bernard. So Saint Bernard means after the ascension in Empyreum, the narrator turns to find Beatrice missing. In her place, he sees Saint Bernard, an elder in the divine church. He prays to the Virgin Mary for assistance and then leads the narrator into the final stage of his journey, the second guide. So that's regarding some important characters that we had focused on regarding this poem. So basically today we discussed regarding some important themes and also some important characters in this poem. Now we have some important details and also some important questions regarding this poem. And after that we had to focus on some important terms, especially regarding the glossary. So that you have to keep in mind at the time of interaction. So today we had focused on some important details regarding this poem, and after that we will be focusing on the next chapter, which is The Repentant Sinner by Leo Tolstoy. So regarding this poem, the third as well as the final part of Dante's Divine Comedy is Paradiso. It is the sequel to the Inferno and the Purgatorio, and it narrates Dante's journey through heaven. And paradise in this work is depicted as a series of concentric spheres. So here we had focused on regarding the sphere of Saturn, and also we have series of spheres that we already discussed regarding the 10 important spheres regarding this universe. Now regarding the end of this Dante's epic on an uplifting note, this poetic narrative is an extended metaphor that traces his journey through heaven, and it explores the vast theme of theology in a complex and extensive manner, and also it itself is a representation of the soul's ascent to God. The central theme explored in this work is that of the medieval theology. So basically this is a kind of theological pattern that you have to keep in mind regarding the major theme of this poem. However, it interpolates other thematic elements like the love, conviction, sin, etc. And also this work, unlike the other two parts of Divine Comedy, delineates the landscape embellished with cardinal and theological virtues. So these are the points that we had to keep in mind regarding this poem. Now we have to focus on some important questions regarding this chapter. So the first one is regarding the objective questions. In which dialect did Dante write the Divine Comedy? So the answer for the question is the Tuscan. So this means that it is a kind of standard Italian language. Then second thing is that politics of which Italian city is criticized in Divine Comedy. So Florence is the city in which the politics of the Florence is criticized in this Divine Comedy. Then we have the original title of the Divine Comedy. So the original title of the Divine Comedy is La Commedia di Dante Alighieri, which means the Comedy of Dante Alighieri. So basically the first title was that the Comedy of Dante Alighieri, not the Divine Comedy, and later this Divina with Commedia, which means that the Divine Comedy, it was added, and the person who added this Divina with Commedia was Giovanni Boccaccio. So he was an Italian classic writer. So Boccaccio added this Divina with Commedia, which means the Divine Comedy. So basically the original title is that La Commedia di Dante Alighieri, the Comedy of Dante Alighieri, and later it was called as Divina Commedia, which means the Divine Comedy. And the Divine Comedy, the Divina, the term Divina was added by Boccaccio later. Then in which year did Dante finish writing of this Divine Comedy? So the answer for that question is that 1321, the same year he died. So basically the answer for the question in which year Dante finished writing the Divine Comedy is 1321. Then on which day did Dante begin his journey through hell, purgatory and paradise? So this is very important. In which day, specific day? So the answer for that question is that on Good Friday in 1300, and also he ended his journey on the following Thursday. So basically here we are focused on regarding the beginning of the date of this spiritual journey. Then how many years old was Dante when he began his journey? So the answer is that 35 years old. And another important question is that when did Dante write the Divine Comedy? So between 1306 and 1321, it is a kind of probability in which from 1306 to 1321, the date in which Dante write this Divine Comedy. Then who was the guide of Dante in his journey through hell and purgatory? So the answer for this question is the Virgil, not Beatrice. In the spiritual journey through hell and purgatory, the guide was Virgil, and he is a Roman poet who wrote the Latin epic, the Aeneid. So basically the Virgil was the guide for Dante through the journey, especially for the hell and purgatory, and for the Paradiso, the guide was Beatrice. Now regarding the different chapters or different cantos are in total in the Divine Comedy. So we have 100 cantos, which means in hell 34, in purgatory 33, in paradise in 33. So we have a total of 100 cantos, 100 chapters of this total in the Divine Comedy. Now we have the total lines which is used in this Divine Comedy. How many total lines? So the answer for the question is that 14,233. 14,233. So that's regarding some important facts regarding this Divine Comedy. And also we have some more objective questions in this category, so I will be sharing these notes at the time of interaction. Now we have some short answer questions. So what did Dante notice on the face of Beatrice? So Dante noticed the Beatrice was not smiling. So the reason for this was that as they went up the stairs of the heaven, radiance of her smile also increased. She feared that mortal eyes of Dante cannot endure it. Therefore, she refrained from smiling. Then what made Dante very happy? Obeying the instructions of Beatrice, who was his heavenly guide, made him very happy. Now we have the color regarding the ladder. So the golden color was the color of the ladder. And also we have a comparison between the ladder. So the ladder is compared to the biblical reference, the Jacob's ladder. And also regarding the two important questions asked by Dante, it is also very important regarding this chapter. And also we have some general questions in which Divine Comedy is divided into three important parts: the Inferno, Purgatorio and Paradiso. So these are the some important questions that you have to keep in mind regarding the short answer question. And also we have some more questions that we will be sharing at the time of interaction. Now we have some paragraph questions in which Beatrice, the character of the Beatrice. So Beatrice serves as a guide for Dante Alighieri in his journey through different spheres of paradise. So especially regarding the paradise, the guide was Beatrice. Then the poet in Canto 21 reveals her beauty. Then also she hides her beauty because of the powerful radiance of her smile. Then we have regarding the predestination. So basically it is a kind of theory that you had to keep in mind. So the spirit that talked to Dante asked him to learn from Beatrice, as she had never asked any doubts about predestination. Now we have some important question regarding the predestination. So basically the predestination is the theory or the belief that everything that happens has been decided in advance by God and that humans cannot change it. So basically it is a kind of predestination. It is a kind of theory that you have to keep in mind. Then we have the illusion in Paradiso Canto 21, in which different kinds of this illusion were happened at the time of this spiritual journey. Then we have some important characters that we already discussed regarding that, the Saint Peter Damiano, then also regarding the Saint Thomas and Saint John, and also regarding the point of view regarding the Dante, and also regarding the Peter Damiano. He was the Benedictine monk, and also he was born in Ravenna in 1001. Now we have the subject matter of Canto 21. It is very important, in which in Canto 21, Beatrice and Dante reach Saturn, which is the seventh sphere in the paradise. Then the contemplative spirits reside in the sphere, which means the souls, different types of souls, they reside in the sphere. They saw a ladder through which spirits in the form of light ascending and descending. Then one of the spirits came near Dante and talked to him, and the spirit was Saint Peter Damiano, who lived in a monastery in the foot of Mount Catria in Italy. So basically this name of the soul was Saint Peter Damiano, and he was from the monastery from the Mount Catria in Italy. Then regarding the golden ladder, in which the spirits in the form of light ascending and descending. Then Dante asked him two questions in such a way that he wanted to know about the reason that prompted the spirit to come near him, and he also wanted to know why the spirits in this planet didn't sing hymns praising the Almighty. So the spirit explained that Dante's mortal ears cannot endure the intensity of the sound with which they sung the hymns in praise of God. And also he said that God had predestined to send him towards Dante. So that's regarding some important paragraph questions that we have to keep in mind. Now we have the final question that we have to keep in mind, in which it is the critical appreciation of this Canto 21. So you have to write this question. You have to write in the note regarding this question. So basically it is very important regarding this point of view. So the first one is regarding the author and the work, which means Dante Alighieri. Then the second point is regarding the seventh sphere of heaven, so which is the Saturn. So basically in Canto 21 of Paradise, Dante and Beatrice ascends to Saturn, which is the seventh sphere in the paradise. And in this sphere we find contemplative spirits who had passed their life on the earth following the God's command, which means different kinds of the souls. So that's regarding the introduction for the seventh sphere of Saturn. Then the influence of different types of stars, and also we have the allusion to Jacob's ladder. So Dante saw a ladder in Saturn which rose to sky. He couldn't see the end of it. Then several spirits were ascending and descending on this ladder, and all spirits were in the form of light. Then Dante felt that all the light in the heaven has come down through that stairs. Then the ladder he saw was an allusion to the Jacob's ladder in the Old Testament in the Bible in such a way that it is connected with earth and heaven. Then several angels are seen ascending and descending on this ladder by Jacob in this dream. So basically it was a kind of dream by Jacob in the Old Testament in the Bible. So basically it is regarded as the Jacob's ladder, and also it is compared to the golden ladder in this poem. Now we have the comparison with the jackdaws. So the jackdaws means a kind of local bird. So basically Dante compares this jackdaws with these spirits. Now we have the two important questions and also the reply by the spirit. So regarding the Divine Comedy, especially regarding the chapter 21 of this Divine Comedy, we have to keep in mind 7 important points. So I already discussed regarding these 7 important points. So we had to keep in mind regarding these 7 important points, in which the golden ladder, then also regarding the questions by Dante, then also regarding the reply by the spirits, then we have the identity of the soul, then following that we have some important facts regarding the soul itself, the soul of this Peter Damiano. Then we have some important points regarding the Pope, the Cardinal, the corruption of the Pope. Then we have the final part of this Paradiso Canto 21 and also the conclusion. So these are some important points that we have to keep in mind regarding this poem. So it is a kind of order that we had to keep in mind. So focus on that attributes, the beginning to the end, and also regarding all these kinds of events. So basically it is a kind of spiritual journey. So here we had to focus on regarding some important events in this poem. So basically it is a kind of theology that we had to keep in mind. Now we have the final part of this question, in which Peter Damiano and criticism of corruption in the church. So here the spirit revealed who he was on earth. So basically the soul of this Peter Damiano. So the spirit was lived in a monastery on the foot of Mount Catria in Italy. Then fellow men in the monastery called him Peter Damiano. Then he led a life of poverty, even though he could have led a life of luxurious enjoyed by most prelates of his time. And also he criticized the corruption in the church in such a way that the prelates who had forgotten their woe of poverty and immersed themselves in all the luxuries of worldly life. He reminded Dante the way Saint Peter the Apostle and Saint Paul led the church. Then Peter Damiano was a cardinal in the Roman Catholic Church towards the end of his life. He had tried to avoid that, as he loved the life of poverty he led in the monastery, saying prayers and singing hymns praising God. Then Peter Damiano wonders how long will God bear this humiliation by his corrupt and clergyman. Dante was expressing his own views on the corruption in the church through the words of Peter Damiano. So here we had to focus on regarding just a point regarding the corruption in the church by the words of Peter Damiano in this poem. So basically it is a kind of criticism based on the corruption in the church. So these are the important questions that we had to keep in mind regarding this chapter. So I'll be sharing all these kinds of questions at the time of interaction. So basically we had focus on these important points, especially regarding the major themes, major characters, and also most importantly these questions. Basically I repeat the question regarding the eagle, when where did this eagle was appeared. So basically it was the sphere of Jupiter, in which the eagle explains the divine justice and inscrutability of God's mind. So it is very important regarding this chapter. So basically these kinds of questions are also very important regarding the exam point of view. So today we discussed regarding some important points regarding the chapter, which is the Divine Comedy. So that's regarding this chapter. So kindly make a note on this chapter, especially regarding the critical appreciation and also regarding all the characters and major themes in this poem. So that's regarding the Divine Comedy. Now we have the second last chapter of this paper, which is the Repentant Sinner by Leo Tolstoy. So today we just introduced that chapter, and in the next class we'll be focusing on that chapter itself. So regarding the chapter, which is the Repentant Sinner, it is a short story by a Russian author who is Leo Tolstoy, and it was first published in 1886. Then also this story details the difficulties of a repentant sinner's attempts to enter the heaven. Then this story opens with the imminent death of a 17-year-old sinner. Then the man has never gone a good deed in his life, and only with his last words did he address God and ask for forgiveness. When the man dies, his soul comes before the gates of heaven, but they are locked. Then the man knocks at the gates, but to no avail. Finally, the accuser decrees that such a sinner cannot enter heaven, and all the man's sins are recited, and the sinner begs to be let in, but Peter the apostle explains that such a sinner cannot be allowed in. Then the sinner points out that for all Peter's virtue, he still sinned by denying Christ, he is still not let in. Then the sinner continues his knocking, and it is again met by his list of sins by the accuser. Now, King David explains that such a sinner cannot be allowed in. So this is the second time in which this sinner cannot be allowed in. Then the sinner points out that for all the David's virtue, he still sinned by committing adultery. So this sinner is still not let in. Then the sinner continues his knocking, and now is spoken to by John the apostle. Then the sinner pleads with John, saying that he of all people should understand repentance. The repentant sinner is finally allowed into heaven. So this is the content of the story, which is The Repentant Sinner by Leo Tolstoy. So today we discussed regarding some important points regarding the chapter which is the Divine Comedy, and also the introduction part for The Repentant Sinner by Leo Tolstoy. So that's for today. Thank you. Happy learning.